Right this very second, there's something absolutely incredible flowing through your veins. We just call it blood, but trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see it for what it really is. One of the most amazing, sophisticated systems you can possibly imagine. So, let's dive in.
Okay, I want you to try something. Picture your body as this massive, sprawling, bustling city. Every single cell is a building, every organ is a whole district. Now, what does every single city need to survive and thrive? It needs an unbelievably efficient logistics and transport company. Well, that company, that's your blood.
All right, so before we get to know the actual delivery drivers and the repair crews, let's take a look at the roads they travel on. We're going to start with the big picture, the entire transport system that keeps your city running like clockwork.
So this massive network, that's what we call the circulatory system. Now, think of your lungs as like the central warehouse, where the most critical cargo, oxygen, gets loaded up. The circulatory system is the fleet of vehicles and the endless highways that delivers that oxygen to every single house, office, and factory in your entire city.
Okay, now for the really cool part. If the circulatory system is the transport company, who's actually on the payroll? What is this stuff we call blood actually made of? It's time to meet the crew.
See, blood isn't just, red liquid. It's actually a team. It's a complex liquid mixture made up of 4 key parts, and every single member of this team has a very specific and very vital job to do.
It's pretty amazing. If you take some blood and spin it really, really fast in a machine, it separates out into layers. And you'd see that more than half of it is this yellowish liquid called plasma. That's the liquid part that lets it flow. Almost all of the rest is made of red blood cells. And that tiny little slice, just 1%, that's your white blood cells and platelets. Small, but believe me, they are mighty.
So let's kick things off with the biggest player in the game, plasma. If we're sticking with our city analogy, plasma is the liquid highway itself. It's this straw-colored fluid, mostly just water, and its number one job is to carry everybody and everything else along for the ride.
I mean, plasma is the perfect transport medium. It moves dissolved gases, it delivers nutrients from your food, it hauls away the garbage and waste products, and it basically acts as the river that all the other blood cells float in. It is literally the stream in your bloodstream.
All right, next up are probably the most famous members of this whole crew. These are the ones responsible for carrying that supercritical cargo we talked about earlier. Let's meet the oxygen couriers.
And that would be your red blood cells. These guys are the specialized delivery fleet. Their entire mission, which they carry out millions of times a day, is to get oxygen from the lungs to every other cell in your body. No exceptions.
And the way they do it is just so efficient. It's beautiful. So first, they grab oxygen in the lungs. There's a special protein inside them called hemoglobin that acts like a magnet for oxygen, and it latches on. Then, they travel to a working tissue, say a muscle, drop off the oxygen, and then zip right back to the lungs to pick up another load. It's just this constant, vital, life-giving loop.
You know that feeling, right? When you've been running flat out and you're gasping for breath. What you're feeling is your body screaming for more fuel. That's your red blood cell fleet going into overdrive, racing to deliver enough oxygen to keep your muscles firing.
But wait, this delivery company does way more than just haul cargo. It also has an incredible security and maintenance department. We're talking about the team in charge of defense and repair.
First up, you've got the security force, your white blood cells. These guys are the vigilant guardians, constantly patrolling the bloodstream, always on the hunt for dangerous invaders. Pathogens like bacteria and viruses.
And they've got a couple of key strategies. Some of them act like frontline security guards. They literally track down and just engulf any trespassers they find. But others are more like intelligence agents. They produce these highly specialized weapons called antibodies that can target and neutralize very specific threats.
So, security is handled. But what happens if the roads themselves get damaged? Well, for that, you have the emergency repair crew, the platelets.
Think about it. The second you get a cut or a scrape, one of your blood vessels, one of those highways, is breached. Platelets immediately get the signal and rush to the scene. They release an enzyme that kicks off this amazing chain reaction, causing the blood to clot and form a scab. Not only does this stop you from bleeding, but it also seals the breach, preventing any nasty pathogens from getting into your skin.
Which, brings up a really good question. We've met the delivery drivers, we've met the security team, and we've met the repair crew. But what about these roads they're always traveling on and patching up? So, let's zoom in and take a closer look at this incredible network of superhighways, main roads, and tiny little side streets that make up your body's transportation grid.
Turns out, this whole network is basically built from 3 different kinds of roads. You've got your arteries, your capillaries, and your veins. And each one is perfectly built for its part of the journey.
Okay, so arteries are the big superhighways that carry blood away from the heart. They have these thick muscular walls because they have to handle the high-pressure blast of blood with every heartbeat. Those arteries branch out into tiny little capillaries. These are like the narrow neighborhood streets. Their walls are incredibly thin, just 1 cell thick. This is on purpose. It slows the blood way down so it has time to drop off oxygen and pick up waste. And finally, that blood, now at low pressure, travels back to the heart through the veins. Veins are wider and even have these cool little one-way valves to make sure blood doesn't flow backward.
So when you put it all together, what do you have? You've got the plasma highway, the red cell couriers, the white cell security guards, the platelet repair crew, and this whole incredible network of arteries, capillaries, and veins all working in perfect sync. It's a non-stop, 24/7 operation, making sure every single part of your city gets exactly what it needs to thrive.
It really is an amazing system, isn't it? This internal river of life, working tirelessly for you day in and day out without you ever having to think about it. Which really just leaves one last question. How are you going to take care of yours?